And we are live in the Mortgage Coach community. My name's Dave Savage. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Pacific, we are here to bring leadership to mortgage professionals. And today is a super exciting call because I have two, not only industry leaders, but people that have become true personal friends. I mean, people that I just care about. You know, when something good happens to them, I'm thinking about it. And when something bad happens, you know, it weighs on me. These people are personal friends of mine. Most of you who've been in the mortgage industry, and if you're in the mortgage coach community, you know who Kelly Zitlow is. What's up, Kelly?
Hey, how are you? Thanks so much for having me today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having you. I love the way you put a spin on today's call. I wanted to talk about building brand, creating content, and you came up with the headline that video is no longer optional, which I think is just a super powerful concept. Thank you for that. So guys, that will be the theme of today's call. We also have someone who is a super close personal friend of mine. Craig Sewing, how long has it been that we've been brothers and buddies?
Been a minute. I don't know, decade at least. I've been using your product before we were friends, though, back in the mortgage days. So I've known you longer than you know me. But yeah, the friendship, at least 10 years.
Yeah, so over a decade, and I've seen you grow into just, you know, a media mogul in both mortgage and real estate. So I think what you're doing with American Dream is amazing for families. It's amazing for real estate professionals. And to you know, be interviewing Kelly Zitlow with the topic of video is no longer optional. I can't think of anybody better than you to have as my co-host.
Well, love to be here, and you got the best representing the industry here. So let's grill Kelly today.
Yeah, let's get into it. So, but before we do that, we have been getting a lot of new loan officers in the mortgage coach community. So Kelly, if someone's new in the business, or this is just the first time they've been on a mortgage coach video, I guess, you know, tell us a little bit about your mortgage practice. Where are you, and what kind of volume are you doing in today's market?
Happy to. So I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been lending for 24 years. I work for a mortgage banking platform and have for all 24 years. And year to date, we're at 346 families served at about 103 million. So,
Wow.
you know, it's been a good year and a lot of mortgage coach TCAs. I'll tell you that. You know, it is definitely part of our process with every single client. And so I'll kind of walk you through what that looks like.
Well, that's mind-boggling that you've done almost 350 loans, over $100 million, and we still have 25% of the year ahead of us. So congrats to you and your team. That's a lot of impact. Craig, you're going to be kind of my co-host on this, so we're both going to be asking Kelly questions together. But if anybody's new to the channel or they're just brand new to the business, if you could just tell a little bit about who you are.
So I got into the mortgage game in 2001. I did okay in it. I opened a net branch somewhere in 2003 or 4. 2009, I started a radio show. The radio show back then, this was pre-social media, this is pre-podcast. Now those things existed, but they weren't necessarily business platforms. So we got into radio for content. So what we're talking about here today with Kelly is it's content. The world's just caught up to how important this stuff is. We were doing it when it was AM terrestrial radio. That allowed us to launch a network around real estate and radio, and then ultimately had a TV show opportunity, which it's one thing to have a show. We built the show. We built it as a show, but also a model, and it's really become a movement across the country. And so in 2016, we launched Ignite Media, and now today, the American Dream is a national TV show centered around real estate in 52 markets. And it's as much as a show as it is a business model that engages the best and brightest of real estate and mortgage. So we've had a lot of fun on this journey, but I hope everybody who doesn't know me knows one thing. My background's in mortgage. It's in my DNA. I absolutely love the business, and I love being here today interviewing Kelly.
Well, I love what you do. And Craig, I want everybody to think about this. Craig has helped invent the space and pioneer the space as real estate entertainment. And let's face it, Zillow is real estate entertainment, search is real estate entertainment, and then media is real estate entertainment. And so Craig is a true innovator with how he's done that. He's got some big disruptive innovations coming soon. We can't get into the details on that yet, but unless Craig, at some point in the conversation you want to. But guys, yeah. All right, we'll throw a line out there, but you should follow this guy on social media. So let's get into it with Kelly. So Kelly, let's start with just, you made the claim that video is no longer optional. Why?
Well, let's back up. So I'll tell you a little bit about the journey, Dave, because I think it's important. So in 2013, I have a passion for education. That's really where my heart is. That's how I've based this business over the last 20 plus years. And in 2013, there was like a little God planted a seed in my head. And it was something like, you should be able to reach more people if you start to incorporate and use video into your process, whether it's marketing or process videos or mortgage coach or this type of thing. So I'm like, oh, okay. So 2013, this is long before kind of YouTube. This is early on in the whole video game. And I sat down with my marketing guru and said, okay, Shay, we're going to do video this year. And I'm going to be able to take what was an email newsletter to the real estate community and convert that into a video to be able to just have a bigger impact. So that was the thought behind it. I had no idea how hard it was going to be. I mean, the mental part of this process was so interesting and such a growth part of my life that honestly, it changed me forever. So 2013, I set out and I shot about 12 videos that year for the whole year, mind you, and never sent one. I was mortified. I was absolutely mortified with the way I looked, the way I sounded. I mean, you get really real when you are looking at yourself. And I was so self-critical. I mean, it was just awful. I wouldn't even send these videos to my mom. I was just like, how in the heck can I send these out to people, my business partners and our community? So, but there was like this little gnawing going on in me. It was a soul kind of, disruption inside of me. And it was something that I knew I needed to do. And I just couldn't seem to get myself there. So in January 2014, Shay and I sat down. We usually sit down at the beginning of the year, kind of plan out the whole year from a marketing standpoint, branding, etc. And I said, we've got to figure out this video thing. And she said, let's be clear. We don't need to figure out anything. You need to get out of your own way. She just laid it out and she's like, Kelly, you are so focused on yourself. You're so focused on the way you sound and this, I do this dumb thing with my eye. Like I had no idea. I talk with my hands. Yeah, this is me, right? It's real. And she's like, you just need to stop. She's like, you have so much valuable information. And that was it. That was the moment in time where it didn't make it a lot easier, but it at least took me on a path where I could stop thinking about myself and start thinking, if you were going to give me 30 seconds of your life, your very valuable time, can I make an impact? And that was it. So since January 2014, we have sent out a video a week to the real estate community. So 50 weeks out of the year, we take 2 weeks off around the holidays. And we've done that consistently now for 6 years. So the key word is consistent in that process. Was it what you see today? No, it was clunky. It wasn't as pretty. I wasn't as comfortable, but honestly, it was just a shift in my mindset where I said, I am going to do this. Warts and all, it's not going to be perfect. I just had to get over myself, and that was it. And that was all it took for me to take the journey into video. So when I tell you video isn't optional, it's not. It never has been, at least as long as it's been around. But the reason people don't do it is fear.
Yeah, well, I think it is fear, and then it's also how to do it. So community, I want to remind everybody, this is a mastermind format. While I think it looks cool to have a computer here and an iPad here, I also have it for a practical reason. We've got a Facebook audience right over here. So if you have questions, I will interact with you guys, make sure your questions come to Kelly. I've got a Zoom audience over here. So if you see me over here, it's because I'm communicating with you guys. So please ask us questions, whether you're in Zoom or whether you're on Facebook. We want to make sure you get your questions answered.
Dave, I want to chime quick on that if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Kelly, I think everybody goes through that in it's their own shape or form. I remember going through that in radio. I didn't like the way I sounded. And it was funny because after about 6 months or a year, what Shay was telling you, I kind of had my own self-discovery is there's nothing to learn. Actually, you know everything you need to know from day one. You just got to be yourself, especially now. Gary Vee, hopefully we don't mind if I repeat Gary Vee with a curse word. That's how he tends to speak. But he made the comment once that people's bullshit meter is at an all-time high. And the reality is people that are overly scripted, overly perfect, that don't have the hands going or eye twitch thing or whatever, actually today, I think come across more disingenuous than people who are authentic or unscripted. I'd rather see someone real than perfectly scripted. And I went through a very similar experience where it was for me, if I framed it anyway, I was speaking at an event a couple of years ago in Seattle, and the guy who was hosting the event had a media company, and he was asking me, how do you get realtors involved in the American dream to be comfortable on camera? And I said this at that time, shooting from the hip, and I've repeated it since because I think it makes sense. It's what Kelly just said. I said there's 3 rules. Number 1, you got to get out of your head and you got to get into your heart. If you do that, it makes it so much easier because you realize it's not really about you, it's about them. And that's actually rule number 2. Make it about the person that you're serving, not about you. And then the 3rd rule is, so get out of your head, get into your heart, make it about them, not you. And if somebody doesn't like that, then forget them. That's just the reality. Is not everybody's going to love you, but the people who do are the people that would probably be your customer, client, relationship, whatever. So I think we all go through that, and we mentally mind screw ourselves along the way. Done is better than perfect. And consistency, as Kelly said, is absolutely key. And you'll get better over time. But I felt for me, the way I got better was I just actually got more real. And I realized to stop overthinking it. But I knew that from day one. So anybody out there who's watching this now, you could start today and you know everything you need to know. You just got to get out of your own way.
So we got a question in from Mark on Zoom, Facebook. We don't have any questions from you guys yet or any takeaways, so get with it. But Mark, I'm going to read out your question, but before we answer it, I want to unpack a few more things from Kelly. But he asked the question, how much impact did video make, i.e. volume increase? So he's kind of getting right to it, Kelly, like how much more money, how much more volume you've done. And before I ask that question, Mark, I want to remind you, when it comes to video not being optional, if you get good at it, you do it right, it will absolutely improve your volume with leads and conversion. But there's something that I think everybody who doesn't do video doesn't recognize. It's a massive time saver. I fell in love with video because I'm ADD, dyslexic, and I have horrible spelling skills, and I've never misspelled a word with video. And I can create better content, more effective content with video. So like that was my video why. It was really that simple. It was just purely selfish. But as I've learned, it's not only it makes you more money, it saves you more time. So Kelly, let's answer Mark's question, 2 ways. One, has it helped your business? How would you kind of speak to that? And then does it save you time? And what are some of your other video whys?
So 2014 in Phoenix, Arizona was still coming out of, the Great Recession, if you will. And so without knowing exactly the numbers, I would say our units were about 175 units in 2016. So today we will close, even in this, in light of this crazy refinance market, probably best to use last year, which was a more normal market. About 75 to 80% of my business is purchase business, and last year we served 349 families. So still context outside of the craziness that interest rates have brought this year. So to answer Mark's question, there's no doubt that video has been a huge component in the growth of my business. But I think as importantly, honestly, with where people are today, with where younger buyers are today, I can't tell you how many times I am speaking to a first-time home buyer. They've already been on YouTube, they've already been to my website, they've already watched video, they already know me before they ever talk to me. And that is a game changer. 34% of our buyers are made up of first-time home buyers. If you don't learn how to talk and deal and work in their world, you are going to get left behind. So I love it. I'll be talking with them. I have no idea that they've watched it, and then it'll come out in the conversation. Oh my gosh, I love that video you did on paying off collections. I wouldn't have known that. Or I watched that video you did, and it comes out, I would tell you, 8 out of 10 times. that I'm talking to a client, brand new, first call, they've already seen it. So when we think about video, it lasts forever. It's out there. It has organic reach. When people are searching on topics, it brings up content. So it's one of those things that, has it brought business? Yes. But has it built a brand, and has it enabled me to be able to educate the community, our community, this country, on the important things that go into this process? Without a doubt, hands down, it has. I like to say, you know what, whether you use me or not, that's okay. Just head over to YouTube, because there's some great content there that can help navigate you as you go through the home buying process.
Well, Kelly, in doing that, Dave, you mentioned scaling, but she's also her own PR company. She's creating connectivity. Advertising is the equivalent of sitting it down on a date and saying how good looking and smart you are and why they should like you. Marketing is the equivalent of sitting down on a date and saying to that person how good looking and smart they are, because you're saying the right thing to the right person at the right time. PR is sitting down on a date and somebody has already told them how good looking and smart and great you are. PR is getting that information out, creating that connectivity so that when you sit down with somebody, there's already a relationship in place. And whether someone uses her or not, Kelly or not, it does help her scale. People already know her. It's like what Dan Keller said on a call with you about a year ago, Dave, where he said, I don't expect every realtor in Seattle to do business with me, but I do expect all of them to know who I am. And that's brand. Sometimes it's tough to quantify brand, but that's a really strong statement.
It is. So the gentleman who asked the question about production, think of it like this. If you do video well, and remember, there's a lot of different video. There's video and a text. To do, rather than have a prep call with these two, I made a 90-second video for both of them. And they could have called me, voice texted me back, you know, could be text video, could be a mortgage coach video, could be, like Kelly said, a YouTube video. And then again, it could be a show, real estate entertainment, like American Dream, and a lot of the realtors and loan officers that Craig helps. So there's a lot of types of videos. So Kelly, let's net something out. I want to get something that people believe in and is clear. Do you think video has improved your production by at least 15%?
Without a doubt.
20%?
Without a doubt.
25%?
Without a doubt.
Okay, so let's not even go further. If there is something that you could do that would improve your production by 25%, should you do it? You know, that's for most loan officers that close less than 5 loans a month, that's an extra loan a month. Now remember, if you are a complete baller and you're closing 200 loans a month, if you could just get a 10% increase, you're killing it. So that's, by the way, that's one reason to do video. Kelly, does video save you time?
Yes. Yeah.
20%? 20% of time, like things that you do in the customer process, you're 20% more efficient and effective because of video?
Yeah, I would say probably 30%. Yeah.
Okay, 30%?
So, yeah.
Time savings?
Yeah. So we're going to share in the Facebook link, but we kind of mapped out how we incorporate video into the process. So it's not just branding and marketing emails that go out to the real estate community. We build in video throughout our campaigns that our clients that we serve receive. So if it's a pre-qualification campaign, they're getting various types of touch points, one of which is video. Once they go under contract, there's a contract to close campaign. Again, they're getting direct mail, they're getting video. So we're touching them in all different types of ways when it comes to the education and just the client experience. So video is something that we do no matter what it is that we talk about. We're using video somehow, some way.
So what, I'm gonna ask another one. So we got 30% time savings or more. We got 25% improvement in production. What about how many realtors in your market know you because of video? What's the multiplier? And I have a feeling it's not a percentage. It's like 3x, 5x, 10x. More people in your community know you because of video. Realtors in your community. What's the number? What's the multiplier of how bigger and how more well-known you are in your market because you do video?
It's hard to actually put a number on it. I have no idea. There's 50,000 licensed real estate agents in Maricopa County. So, you know. Is it
2x though? You think like if you weren't on video, 2 times more people know you because you do video?
I would say at least, right? You know, at least. So the way that we do video is that this content that we're sending out every week to the real estate community, and we're sending it out to about 3,800 realtors. So that kind of gives you the stat in relation to those that are licensed in Maricopa County. It's still very small, but it's people that we've engaged with, that we have some type of connection with, whether I've taught a class, I spoke on a panel, they've signed up, they're cross-sell agents, they're agents we do business with. So that's kind of what comprises that 3,800 realtors that we're.
Well, how about this? Rather than think of it 2x, 5x, 10x, let's flip the script and do a 180 and think the exact opposite. Imagine if Kelly Zitlow had never done a video, had never done the American Dream, and never done any of this stuff. How much would her brand not be known about? And it's tough to answer on either side of that. But when you frame it that way, to me, it's like that would be devastating to somebody's brand, because people just wouldn't have a chance to know you. There's only so many caravans you can go to, which, by the way, all your competitors are doing the video thing now too. So it's, you lose big if you don't do it. And I think if you framed it that way, you would think that Kelly's brand didn't have the opportunity to breathe and live in Phoenix and Scottsdale the way that it has.
Well, I've interviewed enough loan officers that do video versus those that don't to know that it's a multiplier. You know, it could be 5x, 10x. It's at least double. You know, those that do video versus those that don't are more well-known in the markets that they serve. So guys, first of all, thank you for the questions in Zoom. You guys are killing it. And Derek, I'm going to get your questions. Mark, feel free to bring in more questions. Facebook, you guys are probably driving, so if you're driving, no worries about comments, but feel free to put questions. So Kelly, what about this? How much better has it made you? Because I know, like, I didn't start doing video because I want to start doing video for personal development. But I know that when I started interviewing people and I started creating content and video, heck, when I record a demo of Mortgage Coach and I have to do it on video, it makes me better. Like, I am smarter, better because I create video. What about you? Do you feel the same way? Like, you become a better version of you because you do video? Thoughts?
Absolutely. You know, it's a journey. And I think that when you're doing video, it allows you to have to really compartmentalize your thoughts and get clarity around it and be succinct, because you only have so much time to do it where you're keeping somebody's attention. So that, and then too, it just fuels my passion, because I think that there's so much mystery in this home lending thing that we do. And, you know, the country, people don't understand how to find a lender, how to shop a lender, how to get through the process. If you're self-employed with COVID, what does that mean if you're trying to obtain a home loan? So it allows me to get that information out and break down barriers. And honestly, at the end of the day, Dave, that inspires me to do more and be better and just share, you know, what I've learned in the last 24 years. That's what I get excited about. So am I great? Am I like the best person on video? No, right? But I'm me. And you know what? I got a few tidbits and a few nuggets that are helpful to anybody that's going through this process, or to realtors who are trying to navigate their business in these historic times with, you know, the volume and capacity issues and everything else. There's stuff that they need to know that can help them. And that excites me.
I love that, guys. So guys, netting out the why video, 20%, 25% more production, 30% saving time. And in today's refi tidal wave, low interest rates, time matters. We'll cover some tactics on how to do refis faster, how to be more efficient. So in the last third of this call, we'll do tactical how-tos. You become a better version of yourself. And again, my favorite reason is you don't misspell words. So you always look super smart. So Kelly, we've been getting lots of questions, but Craig, any before I bring in questions from the audience, any questions you want to ask Kelly in this format and on today's call?
Yeah, you know, Kelly, as you talk about doing this to educate, let's be real. When we're talking about mortgage, we're talking about people's biggest debt. This isn't the most exciting topic as well, right? It's one thing to educate. It's also like we're talking about underwriting guidelines and things like that. What are some of the things you do to keep it interesting and engaging, and something where, whether it be a realtor or a consumer, can actually watch and find some sort of, not just value in the education, but also a bit of entertainment around it? How do you engage?
Well, one, I think just, you know, being authentic, and I just don't sugarcoat it. But two, everything that I'm doing in the video context is, what's the problem and how am I going to solve it? That's really what the format is. So what's the challenge today? Because the challenge today is going to be different than it was last year. And what's the answer? What's the solution? So that's the context. The way that I'm creating content, and that's a question that I get asked quite often, is I don't know what to say. I would say that even though this isn't a sexy topic, as you mentioned, Craig, thank you very much. It's important, right? It's one of the biggest investments of our entire life. And if you don't understand how the game gets played, then you may not be ready to play the game, right? So you need somebody that has an expert type of just mind frame about this process. It's not just turn and burn. You know, the thing that I tell people when I talk to them, when they say, why you, and why not this big bank or that? The difference is we're very much a boutique lender. Our mission statement is to provide an honest, well-communicated, and knowledge-based lending experience. Video allows us to do that and helps us to elevate that mission.
Great answer. I got a part two. This isn't regarding the American Dream. If you bring that in, great, but that's not the point. How do you leverage it relationally? You got realtors all across the country. Loan officers on this call want to gain relationships and referral sources. You got every Tom Ferry who's out there, and Tom's great, who's encouraging video, whether it's him or the brokerages or webinars. Everyone's saying you should do it. How, as a mortgage professional, do you leverage video relationally?
So a couple things. One, I teach the real estate community, which we will include as a link, a handout. You guys just feel free to swipe and adapt it. So this is a handout that we kind of walk through my entire process, how I shoot videos, what the content is, what the equipment is, all that kind of stuff. So it's all yours, but take it and do something with it. So what I do is just bring groups of people together, realtors, lenders, loan officers, whatever it is, and just kind of help them through the process on how to get started. So leveraging it with my business partners and just how to do it has been really helpful to their businesses. They don't always get it. Sometimes they have to attend a couple of classes because of the fear thing, but I do see them starting to incorporate it into their marketing, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's just great to feel like you're helping people get into the digital media world today. So that's one thing. The other thing is through American Dream. Let's face it, you know, we have 10 power players in this market, and these are people that are committed to incorporating digital media into their marketing platforms, and it allows them to leverage the digital media and what they're doing out in that space with their listings, retaining clients, obtaining clients, all that good stuff. So it's fun to be able to bring that opportunity to them.
So I want to unpack what Kelly just said. I want to make sure you guys connected the dots. So first of all, she was gracious enough. She's going to give us a PDF. We'll put a link in here. If you're watching this, or if you're in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group, it'll also be a version of it in files. So in Facebook, there's a files group. We'll put it in there. We'll label it Kelly Zitlow's Realtor Video Playbook. I don't know, something like that. But did you guys hear that? So she's now a resource to her agents, to where she's teaching agents how to use video in their business. And guys, realtors like that, like whether they're varsity players killing it or whether they're newbies that want to get into the game, they want to know Kelly. And she's built a community called the American Dream, where she's picked 10 exclusive agents that she's creating content together. And guys, I want you to write down this word, if you can spell it, edutainment. So you heard her process: problem, solution, wrapped in edutainment. Everything Kelly does, just she's entertaining, but she's educating. She's edutaining. So I want to make sure you connected the dots on that. Craig, for anybody that's listening to this, that, you know, they're a loan officer and like, American Dream, I've interviewed Craig on it a lot. So I'll put a link down below to an interview that we've done. But real quick, tell everybody what the American Dream is, and if they want to reach out to you at some point, you know, tell them how to engage with American Dream.
Yeah, so it's a show, it's a model, and it's a movement. I think when we talk about things like real estate entertainment, everybody has seen or heard of things like HGTV or the $1 Million Listing. Those are shows that they're reality TV. They're not real. Half of the show is commercials. The other half isn't even real. What we've designed is a real show. American Dream is a real show about real estate, and we visit markets through the lens of award-winning realtors and the best mortgage professional in each of those markets. And as we've evolved, there's different ways we go about it, but essentially it's a show. And I would tell anyone on this call, it's a B2B model before it's a B2C show. So in other words, we partner with mortgage, real estate, title in each individual market to really form the economic model and create something special to share the story about that marketplace through them. And so we've designed it in a pretty thoughtful way. And as it pertains to this call and mortgage, if you get involved in something like it, it's not just about creating content, it's about building relationships with the best realtors in your market. Kelly gave a great example. She's got 10 tied in out of Phoenix and Scottsdale. So she's creating content with them, but also building real relationships that ultimately can generate referrals. So that's what we try and do.
So we'll put a link to Craig's contact information. Guys, while I am an advocate for it, and I've referred countless mortgage professionals into the American Dream, you should follow it. I mean, he just does a great job of showcasing the best realtors that are creating edutainment content and the best loan officers. So if you're the mortgage professional, and that, by the way, if you don't want to be the most well-known lender in your local market, maybe it's not for you. If you're like, I'm not doing video, I still think you should watch it, but you know, maybe you will someday. But if you are creating videos, if you are trying to build brands, I just say it's required that you study this and find, you know, make sure you follow Kelly, make sure you follow Craig and reach out to him, link down below. So I want to break this down tactically, Kelly, because we also have some questions that you can tell people want us to get tactical. Before I ask this question to Kelly, I want to know, if you are creating video, how often are you creating it? Like if you're doing it daily, say daily, put it in comments. If you're doing it weekly, put weekly, monthly, quarterly, or never. Just put one of those 4 answers, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're in our channel, daily, weekly, monthly, annually, never. Let us know, how often are you doing video right now? So Kelly, let's break down the types of videos that you create. So there's full on entertainment, real estate entertainment, American Dream. What other types of video content do you create?
Before we get there, Dave, I really want to throw this out because I think right now everybody's at capacity. Every lender in this country is like, oh my gosh, I can't even think straight, right? So I think that one tactic that's really important that helped me tremendously is how and when to do it. So in my calendar, every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, it is blocked off for me to do video. And in that 1 hour, I will generate anywhere between 4 to 6 videos that my marketing guru, Shay, will put in the can, then she'll start to edit, and then they come out in the subsequent weeks. So for me, it's not like I'm, chunking down and doing these marketing videos every day when I think of a topic. It's very compartmentalized. It's very, calendared. And what happens is, leading up to that Wednesday, 11 o'clock kind of showtime thing for me, I'll just be keeping a list of things that maybe have happened in the process. I tap into my team. Hey guys, what do you feel like is the biggest obstacle today? I'll create video around that. I'll talk to my business partners. Hey, what are you seeing out there? I'll interview people. So there's all kinds of different content ideas, but I just keep a running list on my phone. I get that to Shay. She tees me up and says, here's the last 25 things you said you wanted to talk about. I'll pick 4 to 6 of those every Wednesday. And that's how I generate the marketing videos. So that's kind of one piece of it.
Well, and guys, I want you to write this down. So those are the shows and the how-tos. So the videos that she's doing for American Dream and the how-tos and the problem solutions she's doing for her YouTube channel, she just spoke to that. Like that's one type of video and that's her rhythm. And for those of you that commented on, we've got people that do it every 2 weeks, haven't done one since May. I've never done it. So far, no one has answered daily. So guys, remember, that's one type of video. Real estate entertainment, YouTube, how-tos and problem solution videos. But I know, Kelly, you do other kinds of videos. What are some of the other types of videos you do?
So I've got what I'm going to call the weekly marketing videos. I do videos to my whole database once a month. So that's more of a consumer type of oriented video. So different messaging. I do the
how do you distribute that? Is that BombBomb or something like that?
Constant Contact. So everything, all videos that I create are housed on YouTube. YouTube is our library. That's what we're feeding people to. That's what we're hyperlinking to. And then we incorporate a JPEG into Constant Contact. And that's really what we're using to distribute anything that's coming through video in a marketing type of context.
So email, video, so your database, she's doing email, video. Okay, what else?
So then again, process videos. So we're depending on where the client is in the process, whether it's a lead, whether it's a pre-qualified client, whether they're in contract to close or post-closing. So we do anniversary videos. I mean, guys, it's like there's no end. There's no limit to how you can utilize video into your business. It creates efficiency because now it's just one of those things that you're able to build out processes. And some of these videos are generic. So for example, every year I will create a new birthday video that my clients receive on their birthday. And it's me singing them happy birthday. And I'm the worst singer in the world. But it's fun, they like it. You know, is it like, hey Dave, happy birthday? No, because I have, you know, a pretty large database and I can't do it that way, but it's still with the same heart. And so it's still quirky me. And so, you know, if you're in the database, you're going to get that video on your birthday. And I get just so many responses from it. People laugh, right? And that's just part of brightening somebody's day. So there's a lot of different ways that we can use video. One-off videos, if I have a meeting with a new business partner, I'll get in the car, I can pull out BombBomb and shoot a quick, hey Dave, it was so great to meet you. I cannot wait to circle back with you and, you know, identify whatever, 1, 2, 3 that we talked about, whatever that is. So again, more of that just kind of text video, which you do great. There is just so many different ways that you can incorporate it.
So milestone videos based off of milestone in a process or milestones in a client's journey, events, email, ad hoc. When do you do mortgage coach videos and how does that fit into your process?
So Mortgage Coach is, the great thing about Mortgage Coach is that you can either do videos or you can do Edge Live. I tend to like to do Edge Live, but if I am just like on a roll and I need time, doing the video in Mortgage Coach is great because then you can really kind of circumvent that additional 25-minute phone call if you can be articulate in that video. So I have one real quick that I can show you if you'd like, so you can kind of see. This was a real client.
Do you think I want to see a real world mortgage coach video? Come on.
Oh gosh. Okay, let me see if I can find it.
No, we don't want to see that. But
okay.
So guys, I want to break it down while she's doing it. So write those categories down. Everything from real estate entertainment, how-tos, problem solution, events, personal events, milestones, text video, BombBomb video, and now we're going to look like when you're quoting rates and fees. She already said we call it Mortgage Coach Live. So when she's on the phone with the client, she sends them a link. Guys, everything's a link nowadays. You know, it's either a text, it's a link. She sends the family a link. They click on the link, and you'll see how the video is in here. So tell us what we're looking at and tell us the story behind this strategy.
So this is a long time past client of mine, and their goal is to pay their house off. They had 21 years left. It's a very small little loan, but it still made sense for them to refinance. And I think a lot of times, you know, people who have the lower loan amounts just don't realize or think that it's cost effective. So the great thing about Mortgage Coach is it allows us to have a very transparent view in the numbers, whether it's saving monthly or whether it's saving over time. So they had 21 years left on their loan balance, like an $85,000 type of loan. And yes, that's real for all of you people that live in California. Anywho's, so they had 21 years left. They were at 4 3/8. And what we showed them was a 15-year fixed rate. But they were thinking that they wanted to see if they brought money to the table and paid for all of their closing costs at closing versus financing it. They were thinking it was like a dollar for dollar reduction in total interest, and it's not. So I'll just play the quick video, and then the key and the thing I use outside of the main summary quote in Mortgage Coach is I use that 15-year interest in 15 years, that tab all the time. I mean, it is just something that I'm always talking about because it gives a forward-thinking type of view, and that's really where you start to see the difference in interest paid or what happens in 15 years and what's your loan balance and all that fun stuff. So it's exciting. So hang on, let me just play this really quick. Hi, Diana. Kelly Zitlow here. All right, so great talking with you. This analysis is going to help you kind of understand how all of the numbers are coming together and give you the net differential in 15 years. So as a reminder, you have 21 years left on your current loan at 4.375%. Both of these strategies that we're showing are based on a 15-year fixed rate at 2.75%. The column 1 is going to show you, or scenario 1 is going to show you if you're financing all of your closing costs into the loan, and then scenario 2 per your request is showing you if you were to actually pay all of the costs associated with refinance at closing. So if you go into the 15-year tab, what happens in 15 years, you're going to see that the net differential, if you're coming into closing with roughly $4,100 or you're financing the closing cost into the loan, is less than $1,000. So that's why in most cases, people are really apt to just finance the closing costs, come into closing with no money, but you obviously have a choice. So take a peek. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
So guys, super simple way to do it. I interview top producers all the time, and I hear all the time, especially in this refi market, you could create that total cost analysis any hour of the day. I interviewed a top producer who closed over 45 loans last month, and she's like, I've got 2 kids, and at night I'm doing refi TCAs and I'm putting a 1-minute to 90-second video on it, and I'm waking up in the morning and it's like, green light, let's go. So you could do that anytime. I would just push anybody who's not creating video daily. Guys, when do families want fee worksheets, or do families want mortgage options with their loan officers 1-minute to 90-second video on it? That's what they want. Now, to Kelly's point, I do think getting them into a live conversation, that's where the connection is at. That's where you can really tailor your hopes, your dreams, your goals, and go back and forth. Absolutely. But then maybe put a video on it, because there might be a father-in-law that's loaning in the down payment that wasn't on that call, or there might be a buddy at work that wants them to use his lender who wasn't on that call. So maybe you meet in person and then you put a video on it, especially when you know that TCA is going to get looked at. So guys, we are just getting lit up with questions. So community, great job, guys. I'm going to start rocking out questions. We got 15 minutes left. Before I do that, Craig, anything you want to say or ask Kelly before we go to audience questions?
No, keep rolling. Let's go to the audience. Let them drive the narrative here.
Okay, so Kelly, why don't you real quick, because someone asked a question early on, how long should the videos be? And I know the answer is going to be for different types of videos, different lengths, but if you could just really quick, for different types of videos, tell us what kind of length you think the video should be for this person.
So on average, we keep videos at 2 minutes or less. That's just kind of our mainstay. Sometimes when I'm interviewing people, they'll go much, much, much longer, but for the most part, 2 minutes or less is the target.
Yeah, and I agree, but I want to remind you guys, 15-second video, text video, just saying thank you to someone is great. For mortgage coach videos, I think 90 seconds is the magic mark. If it goes 2 minutes, great, but the more you can keep it at 1 minute, the better. And then interviews, I recommend 10 minutes-ish. And if you are creating something longer, realize probably won't have as much distribution, and you'll have to edit it down and get it under 10 minutes. Craig, anything you want to add to that before we go to the next question?
Yeah, I think it all depends on the medium. You just gave several great examples. Get in the habit of doing the 15 to 20-second video. Dave, true story, you shared it earlier, but I want to reiterate. This morning, I got a video from Dave kind of firing me up for this call, getting me prepared for it. Dave, and my preparation for these calls is very, very limited. But just to get that 1-minute video showed that it was important to him that I showed up early. I was late, but he set the tone for me. That was a minute thing he did just to not have to pick up the phone and call me. And then there's times like this where this is an hour long, but it's an interview. It's going deeper on information. So it depends on your medium. But I love the idea, Dave, of those little 15 to 30 second, hey, thanks. Just want to let you know that in your email inbox right now is a total cost analysis. Give it a look when you can, because what that video does is creating connectivity. Connectivity creates trust. When you're talking about someone's biggest investment and their biggest debt, trust is an important factor. That's how you beat out the tech companies, is actually humanizing yourself. And there's just not a better way to do it.
Love it. Thank you, Craig. So someone just asked a question. What advice would you give to a newly licensed mortgage planners who are building a new brand and seeking to establish relationships with realtors, but have a limited network? How would you incorporate video into this building process?
I think a couple things. One, you should be using Mortgage Coach. And as you sit down with a new business partner, that is such a great differentiator between you and the other 10,000 lenders in your market, right? Or 20,000 or wherever you're at. So a lot of times, you know, realtors want us to make them look good. And to be able to have a tool like Mortgage Coach that really differentiates us and the client experience is helpful. And, you know, just a quick note here for those of you that aren't using Mortgage Coach, or maybe you tried it in the past, but it's not really part of your process. I don't know how many years, Dave, you beat me up about Mortgage Coach, and I just could not get there. A lot like video. Maybe there's a trend here. Anyway, I was like resistant, and I didn't have time for it, and blah, 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 blah. And then finally, I just did it. I don't even know how long ago, maybe 8 years ago. What a game changer. Because it allowed that very transparent look, one, to the consumer, to our clients. It allowed me to listen to their hopes, their goals, their dreams, and then be able to articulate and build strategies around that. And then it allows us to, again, tell the real estate community how we utilize a tool that separates us and what their client will be experiencing. So if you're new, start there.
And while I am Mr. Mortgage Coach, I mean, I really do believe that, because there's a lot of loan officers that close loans on time, that know how to solve problems, and that have competitive rates, and that are likable. But when you can be an advisor and you could deliver a better experience, like, you need to be better. So it really is a great place to start. And I know I'm Mr. Mortgage Coach, but I believe that with all my heart, to the new loan officer that just reached out. But let's give them a tactic. Like, if you had one of your kids getting in the business, obviously they use Mortgage Coach, they deliver better advice. What's like, should they do a Facebook Live on a strategy? Let's give a new loan officer one tactic that they could use to go to the market. And Craig, I'm going to give you a chance to answer this too. But Kelly, what would be one new loan officer idea? Educate.
Facebook Live is great. Break down whatever the challenge is in your market. You can utilize Mortgage Coach to do that. You know, certain times, depending on the year, we're showing rent to own. Sometimes we're showing the loss of, you know, not purchasing with interest rates being historic low, and what it might look like in a year from now if rates are a half a point higher. I mean, you can essentially build out any type of strategy with Mortgage Coach. So build something out based on what the challenge is in your market, and then take it out to social media. Boom, end of story, easily done. The other thing I would say is, when open houses come back, some markets they're there, some markets they're not. It's a great tool to build out based on that open house, a Mortgage Coach strategy. Drop by, visit the realtor, introduce yourself, and then you can just share the link that they can share with prospective buyers that are walking through the house. Again, just another way to differentiate yourself.
Love that. So we're going to put links in Facebook comments. So after this call, I'll make sure we get a link to that PDF that Kelly offered. We'll put a link to the Mortgage Coach TCA that she showcased. I actually recently did an interview. I think it was with Michelle Castle, who she's in Texas. She's doing Facebook Lives with real estate agents. And she's doing strategies right now. She's doing move-up strategies, because there's a lot of people, you're talking to people that want to refinance. A lot of those people that want to refinance want to move up. So you can show column A, your current loan, column B, refi, look how much money you can save, column C, refi, move up. And one of my favorite strategies right now is, a lot of people have equity, is, hey, like, what if you moved up non-contingent and then sold your home and recasted your loan? You're seeing people where their payment would go down. Or what if you moved up, sold your home, and put some money in the bank? Do that with realtors, guys. It's a great strategy. Craig, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, when you're new to something, especially when you're hearing from a Kelly Zitlow who's doing 100 million and the year hasn't even finished, it can be a bit daunting. Like, I'm never going to be like Kelly, but I want to be. You don't. What is the expression? eating the elephant one bite at a time. I wouldn't do a Facebook Live if I was brand new. That's not to argue with my friends here, but I think there's other things that you might be able to do, because sometimes like, well, I don't know what to say. I'm brand new. I don't know as much as somebody like Kelly or my competitors. I think consistency is key, and don't worry about the things you don't know. Focus on the things you do know. You do know you can be super professional. You do know you can work hard. You can put in more hours. You do know you can share great content, and you do know you can entertain people. So I'm going to flip the script a little bit here, Dave. We've talked about total cost analyses. We've talked about making it somewhat interesting when we're talking about DTIs and LTVs and things like that. I'm going to tell you as a piece of advice, go take the place of the realtor. Why don't you be the lifestyle expert? Why don't you go around the neighborhoods? Why don't you drive around in your car and say why Encinitas is one of the greatest places to live? You are educated on that. You live there. And now I'm in Encinitas, but wherever you might be, what's to keep you from creating entertaining content around real estate? Not leave that up to the realtor. Let you be that thought leader in your marketplace, and show us the first time home buyer areas that you love. Show us the school district. Show us the farmers markets. What's to keep you from being the person that entertains around the area that you help people accomplish their American dream of homeownership? So I'm going to encourage you to shift away from maybe some of the things that you don't know you're learning, and focus on the things that you do know. That buying a home in an area that you live is great, and why. So I would create content maybe a little bit more in that realm, and you can have a lot of fun doing that too.
Craig, you really made a good point. And I realize, like, if you haven't done video, doing a Facebook Live is probably the most intimidating. It's live, it's real. And so that's maybe not first base. You know what first base is? Text video. You know, saying thank you to people after a meeting. You know, a mortgage coach video where the things you would give someone over a voicemail or in person, you're doing, get the repetitions in, and, you know, whatever's the easiest for you to do, make sure you do that. So Kelly, I know you've got some new projects that you're doing, and before we run out of time here, I want to make sure, is there anything else you want to make sure that the mortgage coach community knows about, or anything that you think today's listeners need to get?
Well, a couple things. So if you're in a place right now where you feel like you're just like, oh my gosh, right? It's just madness. 2020 has just been an interesting year. I started a Facebook group called Sunshine Warrior, and it's near and dear to my heart, but it's a place to go for inspiration. It's a community that just comes together and I got really this from Craig, so thank you for that. But it's real, and it's positive, and it's not negative, and it's just bringing like-minded people together. It's really in honor of my mom, who passed away this year. Okay, I'm gonna cry. Anyway, but the thought of it is, you know, we're all warriors on some level. And so a Sunshine Warrior confronts challenges with grace and humility while never losing sight of their God-given purpose. They show up big in life, love unconditionally, lift those around them up. A Sunshine Warrior is a beacon of light in the midst of a storm, one who brings peace, love, and inspiration and strength to the world. So if that resonates with you, please head over to Facebook. We'd love to have you join the group. And again, I don't know where it's going, but it was just one of those places that I just felt like, you know what, I want to create a community where people just come together and we're focused on the positive stuff, realizing that sometimes life is tough and we're going to get through it.
Wow. So the words that you just said were amazing. Do you have that like written down somewhere, or, you know?
Yeah, it's on Facebook though.
Yeah. So well, a couple things. So one, I want you to take a picture of that and put it in this chat, because I just think just reading that, guys, is powerful. And then go to Facebook, go to the group. This is the mission that Kelly has, and the people that are attracted to that. I mean, just the words Sunshine Warrior. I mean, I'm attracted. I want to check it out. So make sure you go check it out. But Kelly, I know that you have that in the group, but I want to have a picture in this thread of that document. And I want you guys just to read that, because that's what we all need more of in today's world. I mean, it's a political year. It's a COVID year. I live in the Northwest. You know, I'll never take blue sky for granted again after living in smoke for 2 weeks during COVID lockdown. You know, I mean, it's a tough year. And so we need to be part of these types of causes. So if that resonates with you, you like the name Sunshine Warrior, you like Kelly Zitlow, go check out our group, guys. It's a mission that she has. And I know her personally, so I know how much it means to her, and I know how much passion she has for it. So that would be another way to say thank you. Like if you got to take away from today's call and you like appreciate, like, thank you, Kelly. Best way to say thank you, go to her group. If you're watching the recording, go to her group, check it out. So Kelly, we got 5 minutes left. No, we got 4 minutes left. Anything else just from a business building in the spirit of video is no longer an option? Any other closing thoughts as we wrap up today's session?
I think you said it best. How do you chunk down just something that feels so big? And I would just say, start somewhere. Just start somewhere. Today, pull out your phone, even if it's just sending a video text to your mom or your spouse or to me, just do a quick video and text it. It's a great place to start. It helps to kind of work through the quirks of how do I do it type of thing. And like everything in life, the more you do it, the better you get, the more comfortable you get. And pretty soon it's something that you don't have to think about as much as you did when you started out.
Guys, that just reminded me of something. This weekend, I joined a community called community.com, and it's a text video community. I'm going to put the text, but if you text the phone number 949-799-0837, so if you do it today, you will join a text community that I just started, and I will actually give you a video back. Like, I hope I don't get too many of them today, but if you're watching this today, like if you're watching the recording and you did this a couple of weeks ago, still join my text community, 949-799-0837. Check it out. And it's just a way of experimenting around building community. So guys, here's the takeaways from today. You are going to go to Sunshine Warrior and you're going to get some sunshine from Kelly Zitlow. You're going to check out American Dream, whether you just want to be a spectator and watch the real estate entertainment that Craig and his community are creating, or you want to get into the community. If you want to be the most well-known mortgage professional in the markets that you serve, Craig has got a link to his email address, to his website. I'll put a link. If you're in the mortgage coach community, you're not creating total cost analysis for families, you could be delivering more value, easier, faster, better. Craig, we got a minute left. Any closing thoughts from you, brother?
Yeah, so I dropped links for the American Dream fan page. I dropped for our Instagram and mine. If you want to follow and learn and check it out, I hope you can. And I just remind everybody, have fun. Operate from a place of love. I got this coffee mug specifically for you guys here today. Go to the Beatles in Vegas when COVID goes away. It was awesome. Operate from a place of love. Have fun. And my call to action today is join Sunshine Warrior. That sounds like an amazing movement that all of us can breathe oxygen into. And Dave, you're right. The world needs that now more than ever. And what a great leader for a cool cause in Kelly Zitlow. So that's my call to action for today.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, I got it. And if you were going to take one call to action, that is the one. Let's all be Sunshine Warriors. This call is a wrap. If you got value, give it a like. Watch it with your team. If you are a manager and you believe a video is no longer an option, there's a lot of great things that Kelly said, that Craig said, that will help move your mortgage professionals that you serve into creating videos. So at least they quit misspelling words in their written emails, So more videos, guys. Take care, everybody. It's been a fantastic call.
Bye, guys.
Hey, guys.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Craig.